Ladies and gentlemen, we have been hearing rumors about the upcoming Galaxy S25 line of devices for months now. We have seen all manner of leaks, right? Like, we broadly know the specs. We have seen renders that are going to end up having been quite accurate. We have seen now leaks of basically just photos of the devices because they've got cases on and the cases of leaks. So now we've basically seen the devices. But all along the way, we have heard rumors about an S25 Slim. And now, via a post on smartpre.com in collaboration with OnLeaks, right? We've seen SmartPre post some things that maybe ended up not being true. So you got to look at what the source was. In this instance, it's OnLeaks, and OnLeaks has been, that was a loud truck driving by. OnLeaks has been consistently very, very accurate. And through that collaboration with OnLeaks, we have renders of the Galaxy S25 Slim. And as you can see here from this first render, it looks very much like the other Galaxy S25 devices. You have your 3 cameras up here in the top left, power button, volume rocker, selfie camera in the hole punch configuration, relatively slim bezels around the screen. If we jump to this other view, flat side rails are also there. You're beginning to potentially see, though, that this device does definitely look a little bit slimmer than other devices. You have a speaker there, USB-C down here at the bottom, probably microphone there as well. And then one last view, I'll point out the LED flash. Not a whole lot more to point out. It looks like a Galaxy S25 device, but of course there's going to be much more to potentially know. I said that it looks a bit slimmer. It should. It's the Galaxy S25 Slim, but that is indeed what they decide to call it. But how slim is this device? Well, SmartPre says that it's about 6.4 millimeters thick, or maybe we should say thin. And as I wrote here, to put that in perspective, the S24 Ultra is about 8.6 millimeters. So we've shaved off about 2 full millimeters. For some additional context, if you've got something like your Pixel 9 Pro Fold, OnePlus Open, most of these are somewhere in like the 5-ish millimeter range, so a little bit thicker than that. Now, one thing that they did also point out is that if you actually include the camera modules on the S25 Slim, it does obviously make it a bit thicker. These cameras do stick out quite a ways, and I believe that they said it would be about 8.3 millimeters. So that means if you take 8.3 to be the full thickness, something like 20% of this device's thickness is camera bump, and for some reason that just is amusing to me. But at any rate, guys, we are looking at about a 2 millimeter reduction over their typical flagships, the S25 Ultra. They have the dimensions here for it. It's going to be about 8.2 millimeters, so almost 2 full millimeters thinner than the Ultra. And guys, this is going to be kind of like an Ultra phone because it's going to have a screen that's somewhere between 6.7 and 6.8 inches. It's going to have that triple camera setup, which, as they mention here, a 200 megapixel HP5 primary, a 50 megapixel JN5 ultra wide. So that's, I believe, the new ultra wide, the same primary as the Ultra phones, and then a 50 megapixel 3.5x telephoto. So it's not going to have the 5x, but at that resolution, you ought to be able to zoom pretty far. Internally, I would expect, of course, the Snapdragon 8 Elite, the same chip that's going to be powering the other devices, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and then, of course, One UI 7. So this thing, kind of the way I'm thinking of it is take the S25 Ultra, get rid of the S Pen, make it a lot thinner, and then get rid of that 5x optical zoom, and you basically have this slim version. And, of course, also shave off about 2 millimeters. Now, when all of these leaks were happening, showing off all of these different like renders of the other devices and so forth, the Slim was never included. And because of that, I told you guys that I thought it was because the Slim was probably coming later. And SmartPre is reporting exactly just that. You might see it unveiled at the January 22nd event, but it's not going to be launching around then. They're saying closer to May of 2025 for this device. Personally, I don't think they're even going to unveil it. Maybe they'll tease it, but I don't think that you want to like actually unveil a device that isn't coming until May, because all that's going to do is hurt the sales of the devices you are actually focusing on that day. So if this event comes and goes and they don't mention it, that doesn't mean this device doesn't exist. It just means that they're not trying to crater their own sales ahead of time. A couple of unknowns here. They don't mention the size of the battery when you're reducing the thickness of a device by that amount. I don't think we're going to be getting like a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in this thing. There's just not going to be space for that. What else do you typically have, suffering when the space gets diminished like that? Well, that will be thermals. So what are their solutions for thermals? Are they using some sort of advanced vapor chamber technology or something like that, a heat exchanging thing, kind of like what they did with the Pixels? Who knows? I would expect there's probably some advanced tech going on there to compensate for this to some degree, but again, we just don't know right now. I do want to quickly remind you guys that if you click the link in the description down below, you are still able for another 6 days to reserve your Galaxy S25 device. They're going to give you a $50 Samsung credit for accessories and things like that. There's no obligation to buy, but if you think you might buy one, all they want is your name and your email, so they can send you an email when the device is launched to say, hey, the device is launched. Okay, so again, you don't have to buy anything, but if you think you might, click that link down below. It helps support the channel, and it does give you a $50 Samsung credit at time of launch. And of course, you're going to have, I believe, probably like enhanced trade-ins when they say up to $1,250 of additional savings. Typically, what that means is if you're using the link in the email they're going to send you, you're going to have enhanced trade-ins. So keep that stuff in mind. I do want to hear what you guys think, though. Are you now thinking, hey, maybe with that slim device coming in May, does this actually speak to you? Do you see this extra slim S25 Ultra and think, I'd rather have the pen and the zoom? I don't really care about it being 2 millimeters thinner. We know Apple apparently has an Air iPhone coming sometime around the same time. What do you think of this whole trend? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.